Joachim of Fior is the most important thinker you've never heard of. He prophesied with Richard the Lionheart, inspired Dante, and completely transformed monasticism. But more than that, his ideas even shaped how we view the future. Joachim of Fior is the most important apocalyptic thinker of the whole medieval period, says theologian Bernard McGinn. In his own time, he was hailed as a great prophet and visionary. Even kings sought his wisdom. For example, Richard I met with him to ask for advice before leaving for the Third Crusade. He was so revered that Dante placed him in Paradiso, the highest heaven, in the heaven of theologians. Dante even borrowed imagery from his work, including the 3 interlocking rings representing the Trinity. So who is this man who left such a large imprint on the medieval and even modern world? And what was so revolutionary about his ideas that they changed how we think about time itself? Born in 1135 in Calabria, Italy, Joachim worked his way up from being the son of a notary to becoming the notary for the Archbishop of Palermo and Margaret of Navarre, the regent for the young king of Sicily. He was successful, and life was good. But in 1159, everything changed. While on a pilgrimage to Jerusalem, he experienced a spiritual crisis and renounced his worldly life. After returning home, he lived as a hermit for several years before becoming a priest and an abbot of the Cistercian order. In the late 1100s, he founded a new abbey at Fior and began writing a significant amount of theological texts. It was in these works that he unveiled his unique and radical interpretation of history. Though Joachim was widely considered an exemplar of holiness during his own time, he is most remembered today for his theories regarding the Book of Revelation and the dawn of a new age. So what were these groundbreaking theories? Joachim's most significant theory is that of the 3 ages, which divides all of world history into 3 eras or statuses, each correlating to an aspect of the Holy Trinity. There is the age of the Father, the age of the Son, and the age of the Holy Spirit. The age of the Father corresponds to the Old Testament. This age saw earthly fathers, heads of families, tribes, and kingdoms, wielding power on earth. It was a time of patriarchy and law, but also one where the worldly life of the flesh prevailed. The age of the Son corresponds to the New Testament, marked by Christ's birth. This age saw religious institutions, especially the church, rise to power. It was characterized by faith and Christian brotherhood. According to Joachim, this age would end around 1260 AD. The final age, which was still yet to come, was the age of the Holy Spirit. This era would be a contemplative paradise, where the gospel would be preached by a new order of monastics called the Order of the Just. Christianity would unify, and peace would flourish on the earth. It was a firmly positive, even utopian, view of the future. Joachim believed that the age of the Father and the age of the Son had both lasted roughly 42 generations, and the age of the Holy Spirit was fast approaching. While his specific prediction may have been off, some elements of his prophecy actually came true. One of the core characteristics of this last age was that it would be spearheaded by a new type of monastic. For hundreds of years, monks had mainly kept to themselves, spending their time in meditative prayer and shutting themselves off from the world. But Joachim envisioned a new type of monk who was active, who used prayer and fasting as fuel to go out into the world and preach the gospel, to go where the poor and hungry were, in short, to live as Christ. Shortly after Joachim's death in 1202, 2 such monastic orders were formed, the Franciscans in 1209 and the Dominicans in 1215. These orders were groundbreaking because they moved from place to place, preaching the gospel to all who would hear. Known as mendicant orders, they lived completely off charity, relying on others to provide food and shelter. It's no surprise that many believe they fulfilled Joachim's prophecy of the Order of the Just. And these orders did go on to spread the gospel to the ends of the earth. For example, 2 Franciscans were aboard Columbus's second voyage to the New World in 1493. Over the next century, the order helped to Christianize the native populations, converting millions. In addition to the Americas, Franciscans established presences in Asia and North Africa, while Dominicans became missionaries who spread the gospel to the Americas and far corners of the world too. But Joachim's vision was not just a prediction. He, in a sense, created the future, or at least a conception of the future that we still hold today, one of progress. So what does that mean? To understand how Joachim's positive vision of the future was so groundbreaking, we first need to understand the prevailing conception of world history at the time. In the medieval period, most people envisioned history, and the future to come, the same way as St. Augustine. Augustine's framework broke history into 6 ages spanning from Genesis to Revelation, each correlating to a different stage of salvation history. They are from Adam to Noah, from Noah to Abraham, from Abraham to David, from David to the Jewish captivity in Babylon, from this captivity to the birth of Christ, and from Christ to the present day. It's in this last age that we live today. You'd think this would mean an optimistic age because Christ has come, but Augustine viewed it as more of a stagnant period, locked in eternal struggle. On one side, the city of God fought for Christ's kingdom, while on the other, the city of man fell into the pursuit of worldly goods. Eventually, the city of God would prevail, but not until Christ's second coming at the end of time. Until then, mankind was destined to be caught in the middle of this struggle, and things would probably get worse before they got better. So how did Joachim's view differ so radically from this? Unlike Augustine's framework, Joachim's conception of the age of the Holy Spirit was predicated on the idea of earthly progress. The future was not something to fear, but rather something to look forward to, and mankind would be instrumental in making it better. Joachim proposed that the future would be a time of continuous improvement, where life would steadily get better and human progress would never end. In many ways, his ideas were a precursor to Enlightenment thought, though he still maintained God's will as the driving force of history. Joachim boldly proclaimed that mankind would be a positive force in the development of history, and this is the idea that changed medieval thought and continues to shape our perception of the future today. Today we understand the inevitability of societal change and the central role that human agency plays in forming the future. Technological innovation, individual rights and liberties, and grand discoveries are all predicated on these ideas. Christopher Columbus even cited Joachim's ideas in his Book of Prophecies as justification for embarking on his voyage across the Atlantic. And the missionaries who brought Christianity to the New World were also students of his thought. Philosopher Oswald Spengler credited him with leading Europe into a new epoch. Western culture as we know it would not be the same without Joachim of Fiore. Though Joachim of Fiore is now mostly forgotten as a thinker, and his prophecies are long discarded, his thesis that time is not static and that mankind plays a fundamental role in bringing about a better future has stuck with us ever since. One more thing before you go. First of all, thank you for watching this video. We are so grateful for all our supporters, and would be especially grateful if you like, subscribe, and most importantly hit the bell. This ensures you never miss any of our videos. But if you're really passionate about exploring the timeless ideas of the West, we need your help to keep this mission alive. While our videos are here on YouTube, the heart of our work lives on Substack. Your support there allows us to continue our research and produce the in-depth essays, historical analysis, and cultural commentary you love. By joining, you become a key part of our effort to highlight the truth and beauty of the West. The link to join is in the description. Once again, thank you, and we'll see you over on Substack.